Number 4, border crisis. Now, I've always shied away from calling it a crisis. It's not a crisis. It's been going on for years and years and years. Problem is now the president, as he has been known to do, has stepped around the reach of the Constitution. Constitution. Carry it with me. He stepped around the reach of the Constitution, stepped around Congress, and he's now doing what the fuck ever he wants to do. You know, we'll talk about a blatant disregard for the sanctity of human life. And I should have made this point earlier, but it slipped from my mind until now. There was actually a voter registration tent set up near about in the spot where Michael Brown was killed, signing up voters. But anyway, Obama. Essentially, let's break it down in layman's terminologies here. Essentially, the federal government, in conjunction with the fucking food stamp and free cell phone fucking office, has made an agreement with Mexico to allow citizens from fuck knows wherever to cross the border safely. You know, they rushed once it started, you know, happening and people started noticing and started bitching. You know, they rushed to classify these illegal criminals as children. Oh, the poor children. What I just say about bleeding hard ass fucking sorry. Anyway, poor children. Well, wait, you know, poor children doesn't get enough sympathy from the American people, so let's just call them refugees. Let me explain something to you. The federal government does not have the reach nor the constitutional rights to have anything to say about immigration. Nothing. Nothing. That's Congress. But by executive order and executive overreach, we now have thousands. And the last bit of like newsworthy something that I heard about the border crisis, border situation, was that we now have people coming from China, India, Pakistan. These people are flooding Mexico from all these countries and walking across the border because there's nothing a border guard can do about it. Remember what I said earlier? You think ISIS isn't here, you're fucked up in the head. The border guard is now classifying people who they don't even know what race they are or where they're from as OTW, other than white. They don't even know what to do with them. My friend Frida put out a video about a mutual acquaintance. It's a friend of hers. I know of him. Wonderful individual, Manny Vega. He and Blaine Cooper are down in that area, and they put out a video, and she in turn reshared it, of they found a young man near death, dehydrated. They gave him water, loaded him up, they carried him up to a border checkpoint, and for all intents and purposes saved that man's life. I applaud Manny and Blaine for that. The sanctity of human life. But I'm going to draw the line there. And I just want to point out the obvious thing that maybe nobody bothered to see. If you watch that video pretty closely, this young man was probably in the range of 19 to 22, 23 years old, young individual. Spoke Spanish, don't know which region he came from. But again, maybe at most hours away from dying on our land, in our country, by no fault of his own. It's not his fault. The thing that bothered me was this man's wearing new Nike shoes, basketball shoes. Anyway, like I said, maybe I was the only one that took notice of it. I just thought it was rather humorous. But Rick Perry made a decision. He asked for help. He asked for help. He asked for help. No help was given. He made a decision to deploy the National Guard on our southern border in the state of Texas, which is his right as the governor of the state of Texas to call up the state National Guard. That's what he did. Meanwhile, in California, the president of Mexico is coming over and going to be greeted with open arms. But meanwhile, while this flood of illegal immigrants, criminals, is coming across the border, and I said fucking criminals because when you cross a border without permission, well, you know what? Fuck it. They got permission from Obama. So, you know, whatever. It's not a crime. We have a Marine who's suffering from a PTSD, stuck in a Mexican prison. Sitting there. But we're all worried about the poor children and the poor Palestinians and the poor Israelis and the poor this and poor that and poor... What about us? What about us? Just saying.